goal for Cincinnati. Mitch Hildebrand, the hero, and the underdogs have prevailed once again.
I would like to present the USL regular season championship to FC Cincinnati. Congratulations to the players, the staff, and most importantly, the fans on a record-breaking season. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your regular season champions, FC Cincinnati.
In a foot race, Cincinnati plays the surprise.
The Flying Lion says,
"Boys, hell is real."
2023 Supporter Shield champs.
So glad that I can be back with people who know that it's a Flying Lion.
It shows how much we all love this club.
Yeah, just a fan of the sport, you know.
I want to play for these fans because these fans are amazing.
In this club, you don't play just for the club, you play for the fans. I'm here for the fans.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. What's going on, guys? What's going on, everyone? Not the way we wanted this one to go. Not the way we wanted to talk about this one. Brutal 5-3 loss at home to Inter Miami, Sam.
Yeah, this one stings. There's a lot to be pissed about, a lot to be disappointed about. I'm sure the players feel it, you know, first and foremost. Yeah, I mean, you absolutely felt the air kind of come out of TQL, and it very rarely ever happens. So tough loss. Yeah, I almost wish I had a day or two to kind of digest it. So my, thoughts might be a little bit different then, because I don't even know what to say. I mean, like, you play a solid 80 minutes and the last 10 minutes of the match, you just blow it away. I think for, that 80-minute stretch, again, like, we looked good at times. There's times where the defense obviously was horrid. And that's just been a theme all season. We've had no response, no matter who we've put out there. I think even going back to the Charlotte match the game before, it was a 10-minute stretch that led to us tying. And then in this one, 80th minute, they get 3 goals out of nowhere, it seems like. But it's the lack of focus. It's the collective, ability on defense to make the right plays. We hear Pat Noonan talk about we struggle to get out of our own way, at times as well. It's just brutal. And it's just, again, I tweeted it out. It's flat out unacceptable to give up 5 goals at home. I mean, this is the second time it's ever happened in TQL. The only other time was 2021, before Pat Noonan's, regime even started. We gave up 6 goals against Nashville. And I thought, hopefully this is the last time we have to see that. How many 5-goal games have we had this season, Sam? Between Tigres, New England, now at home against Inter Miami. It's just flat out ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, if we kind of want to break it down, goal by goal, obviously Miami hops on the board first in the 24th minute with Messi. Do you want to talk about lineup wise? Like, did you have any thoughts about that? I mean, because let's be honest. Now that we see how it plays out, like you look at the lineup and it's a head scratcher. We had seen Andre Chirula for multiple matches in a row at center back, and he's left out of the 18 in this one, right? Or the starting lineup in this one. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting. Sam and I had questioned, should Bucha be playing in the middle to start, to kind of control the midfield? Turns out we might have been, a little right about that too. Bucha had a great game out wide and always puts in a shift there. But that's the other question. And so, I think Miles comes back in and starts. That's the other big move, compared to Saturday. And Sam, any thoughts about that at all? Yeah, the lineup. I mean, if you want to touch on that, it was interesting to see a little bit of rotation, obviously in the back coming into this match. We were thinking, hey, who's going to be in that back line? Is he going to remain consistent, or are the guys that we're paying the big bucks, are they going to kind of come in and take those spots back? But honestly, the biggest head scratcher to me was Kyle Smith in the back there. Not sure what he's done to earn that position. Like we talked about, Chirula has been phenomenal, as a center back in the back. And
looked good, even, last match against Charlotte. But yeah, I mean, those.
Can I touch on that? I
Yeah.
just want to comment on that. So, I get he's 17. I get he's inexperienced, against these massive clubs, if you want to call it, and these world-class players. But what kind of confidence, thing is that to Sharilla to say, hey, we thought you have done so well, but we're not going to put you out there in a big moment to start. I mean, that I think to me is kind of telling that, hey, we trust you, but to a point. And they don't fully, give them that full green light in these situations. And instead we turn to guys, historically that have been good for us in Miazga and Miles. But let's be honest, their run of form, it hasn't been there. Sharilla has been a way better passer, and out of the back line, even than what we had seen, with Kyle Smith, who actually had played a decent match up until, towards the end of the match there. But I think that was a big head scratcher. And as we go through our breakdown here, we'll kind of give you our thoughts on, we see both Matt and Miles come out at the same time. They were on a minute restriction and what Pat had to say about that. But Sam, back to your point, first goal comes, 20 minutes in or roughly around there.
Yeah. So, I mean, once again, we coming into the match, Messi hadn't scored against FC Cincinnati in MLS play, and kind of had been obsolete in, just MLS matches in general against us. And here in this one, Ryan, he gets on the board first.
Yeah, and honestly, if you go back and look at it, it's a play where it's brought into the middle of the pitch. I think Roman should have honestly just come out and grabbed the ball without hesitation. He hesitates. He thinks, is Miazga getting it? Am I getting it? As the keeper, Sam, you got to run in and take charge in your box. This is my ball. I don't give a what, who's there. I'm going to go and get that ball. And he hesitates a little bit. He gets out close to it, and then Matt tries to clear it, and Messi's just in that spot where it just hits off of him and goes in. I mean, it's just being around goal and making things happen. But yeah, I think that's poor communication and shows, again, these guys have been playing with each other for years now. Like, what are we trying to figure out in this moment? Why all of a sudden is it like we're just going to stop talking, and that leads to an early deficit, which, again, we've seen multiple times this year. But the boys had a response, and I think they still were lively. They felt like there was goals out there. Let's be honest, Miami's defense is trash. I mean, they're not good, and we just didn't take enough advantage of it. We still get 3 goals, and that should be enough. Denke gets a PK, a deserved PK. The ball's played in. He holds off the guy so well the whole match. Let's be honest. I mean,
he's done
he
really
had a
well.
phenomenal match with holding the ball up. He gets fouled in the box. Was there maybe a shout to see Evander take it? But Denke, obviously gets fouled. He takes it, slots it away past St. Clair, who almost actually saves it. Denke with a nice celebration, in the corner. Thought we were going to maybe give up another one before half, Sam.
No, I know.
A little
and,
testy.
well, and that was the biggest thing, right? Is I think you saw Matt Celentano. I think maybe there was a potential goal that goes like over the bar or hits the bar for Miami there, like right before half. And you see Miazga kind of like, guys, like energy, like we need like to get through half. Luckily they do. And Ryan, coming out of halftime, you're kind of going, okay, like good showing, like good fight to come back in the first half. But what kind of FC Cincinnati squad are we going to see in the second? And luckily it was kind of total football to begin that second half, which was nice to see.
Yeah, no, I think that was my big question is we've given up the most amount of goals in that time stretch right after half. They come out strong. It was a team goal, a little link up play between Evander and Mamadem. Evander, I think, plays Denke with a beautiful turn, plays Ramirez out wide, slots it across. I mean, total team football. Slot in, tap in, by Bucha there, who deservingly gets the goal after putting his body on the line, Sam, at the end of the first half. Gets, a head knock there. I think you're lucky to have him still out there, and then scores that goal. You're up 2-1. You're feeling, again, solid about your team offensively. You go up, but what's that next step? What's that next goal that we're going to get to kind of put the game away? And it doesn't come. I think their second goal, if I remember correctly, was just kind of a build-up play.
all night long, I think that Brian Ramirez got shredded, Sam.
Yeah.
Like that left side of the defense was a giant hole. He was isolated one-on-one. He gave them too much space. There's a lot of through balls to that side. I think that's a lot of teams, game plan right now is to go down that side and whip a ball in. And they just work a goal in because nobody steps to the ball. It leaves Messi wide open for a tap in, 2-2. For a neutral, watching it, a lot of goals. And then Evander just with the most Evander play you'll see. I mean, he just takes the ball in space for this third goal for FC Cincinnati. A few hesitation dribbles, top of the 18, and I thought he was going to put a hole through the net with that shot, dude. That was a crazy.
Yeah, top left corner. I mean, that was absolutely insane. You love the celebration even more, right? Messi is famous for taking off his jersey and showing the back of his jersey, and Evander said, "Hey, why don't you take a look at the back of mine? I'm the number 10 on the other side." So in the moment, I'm sure he felt like, hey, this could be a game-winning goal. I'm gonna show off here a little bit. Unfortunately, that's just not the way it goes. And Ryan, after that, you enter into territory that FC Cincinnati has never been in before, right? And that's losing a game in the Pat Noonan era after winning after 75 minutes. So it's the next two goals were a little tough.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing that drives me crazy is just we do the same thing and we've gotten away with it. Noonan just decides to let's just kind of fall back and bunker in. Like obviously the other team is taking it to us. They're down a goal, but what's our response to that, Sam? How are we gonna, match that or go for that fourth goal that doesn't give them an opportunity to maybe come back with 10 minutes left? And you see a decent amount of energy, but I mean, let's be honest, the big moment of the game is the subs. You see Obi come in, I believe for Dado, and then you see, Miles and Miazga come off for Nick Hagelin and Andre Shirilla. So giant head scratcher that you have a 17-year-old, a 30-plus-year-old, and another 30-plus-year-old in your back line and expect to get a result out of it 10 minutes left in the game where you're not really at this point controlling possession and you're just wave after wave trying to fight off a team that's going to come down your throat. And it's too easy. One of the goals, I think the foul on Denke is unfair. It leads to a set piece where Messi whips a ball in. It causes Shirilla and Roman to collide and they just get a tap in. But the foul, if you go back and look at it, I think Denke gets pushed leading to the foul.
Yeah.
And it's an unfair, play and it leads to this. But again, the response has got to be better. Right away within 2 or 3 minutes, it's just another one and then another one. And it's just like, again, compounding. How many times have I said it that once they let a goal in, it's just become so easy for them just to give up multiple goals. And it just all of a sudden you turn around and you look and it's 5-3. And 5 minutes ago, you were up 3-2. So you didn't have that guy on the field. Obviously, Evander was the captain this one, but you took off your experienced defenders. So let's talk about this. All right. You have your two most experienced center backs who are on minute restrictions, but we decide to start them and pull them at the same time. Sam, I got to think there's got to be a better way to manage this. Maybe bring somebody in at halftime, give Shirilla the confidence that, hey, you've been playing well. I'm going to put you in a big moment here. You start out there, and then we'll give Miles, 45 at the end or Miazga, whoever it was, let's do that instead of, hey, let's start them out, sub them both out at the same time and just say, hey, bunker in, good luck.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, I thought Miles played pretty well. Out of everybody in the back line, I mean, the dude was trying his best to, keep every goal from being, put into the back of the net for Inter Miami. And I mean, he had slide tackle after slide tackle to kind of prevent that, which nice to see, but just not enough. I guess. And
I'd argue, individually, he was brilliant, but again, it doesn't
exactly. And like you talked about, these guys, right, have not played together. What we said, Montreal was the last time that Miazga and Robinson had started together. So
Correct.
it had been such a long time, and you expect these guys to go out and go start, let alone like, hey, last match they come in as subs. Let's do that again. Like you said, we have not a winning formula, but an unbeaten formula going on right now. And you're deciding to mix it up for the sake of getting these guys and their egos back to, what it should be, which once again, you're throwing these guys into the fire that is Messi. Like that's not necessarily a good idea.
I could see both sides of it. Like I get starting your best on paper team from the start, but again, like what does that say to your players that have been playing well and got you to that unbeaten streak, like you're saying? But also at the same token, if you bring them on late and ask them to come into a match where it's been goal after goal after goal, like that's, obviously throwing you into the fire as well. But an experienced player that, like Miles Robinson, if he's going to be playing in the World Cup, you expect, more of a command there. And I think I don't know if this is the case or not, but having Matt next to him being more of that vocal person, does Miles feel like a little bit less of a capability to command things, Sam? Again, on his side, he plays left center back, and against Montreal, he did as well. We let in 3 goals that match. We let in, I think 2 when he was in, and then 3 when he's out. But I just don't think the left side is good enough. And if we kind of move towards the conversation of what's got to change, I think it's number one, the left back situation. Like it's just, there's too much space there. It's a revolving door at left center back. How many different left center backs have we had?
At least 3 or 4.
Guidi, Hidebe, Flores, Hagelin,
Chirilla.
Miles Robinson, Chirilla. I mean, and you expect like any different result. He's trying to throw things out there to see what works, but at this point, it's like he clearly. I mean, there's no clue, and I get so frustrated with the fact that you have a lead at home, Sam, with 10 minutes left, and you can't not even hold on. You give up 3 goals that easily. I mean, again, like if TQL is going to be a fortress, like they can yell all they want about the sellouts and whatnot, and you can, maybe use the crowd to your advantage. But in this one, it wasn't there.
No. And I mean, if you kind of want to, just touch on kind of the post-match comments, on Pat's side, I don't know if you want to look at what Carter said. I'm looking at what Laurel said, or what she's putting out. And once again, like you said, minutes restriction for Matt and Miles, and Pat saying it's not ideal to take 2 experienced guys out along the back line, but that's our reality. And he said that currently Chirilla is in concussion protocol, so I'm sure we'll get stuff on that. But
well, he's out for San Diego then, and we're probably running back Miles and Matt, again there. Flores isn't even in the 18, by the way, our U22 player. Doesn't even make the 18. So that's not great. I don't think there's a future for him, at this point. But yeah, man, I'm seeing him talk about, Carter. Thanks again for getting this quote here, but the decisions that we're making on the ball, the turnovers, the rush passes, there's times where we have space and we force the wrong pass. I don't even really think it's that. I think, obviously the decisions in the back led to that. But I want him to talk more about the defensive side of the ball and like, how are we going to improve this and how are we going to keep our focus for a full 90 minutes? What did you tweet out, Sam? Pre-match, Pat Noonan said we want to get a full 90 minutes out of this crew, and again, it's short stretches just that have been killing us.
Yeah, and like Pat said here, he said maybe it's confidence, maybe it's comfort level in certain spots, but we can't recover from the mistakes we're making. It's not just the last 2 games; it's a trend.
So you put your head down when you make a mistake, and then it leads to more, right? That's exactly what he's saying, but. So if it's a trend, then do something about it.
I mean, we've seen it how many times
yeah.
where we let one in quick succession. I could go back to multiple games this season where within a 5 or 10 minute stretch, we've given up 3+ goals, which is, again, that's unacceptable. It's just flat out not okay for a team that wants to have playoff ambitions. So, with this loss, we're now in 8th in the East, 16 points. Sam, we're 4-5-4. And you turn your attention now to San Diego. I mean, it's got to be a huge gut punch for these players that put in, I would say for all means a pretty decent performance up to the 80th minute.
So real quick, I know, we'll probably touch on it a little bit more. It might be your card of the week here on Monday, but I just want to talk about the Inter Miami antics throughout the entire match.
Oh, totally.
Just to start the match, for those of you who weren't there, Miami comes out for their training before the match 15 minutes, 10 minutes before the game starts. So they're in their eyes, late. And then first half happens. Obviously you're getting Rodrigo DePaul and some other guy like flopping all over the place, complaining about every little thing. And then halftime, right? And second half is about to start and no Inter Miami. I'm pretty sure FC Cincinnati probably stood out there for 5 minutes at the very least, just waiting on Inter Miami. And I don't think there was anything done about it. No yellow card, no nothing.
There's got to be a fine coming.
Yeah, there's got to be something, right? Because you can't just.
We come out, we score right away. For us, it was like, okay, like I think we were a little pissed off about it and we went and scored right away. But at the end of the day, they can do all their antics they want. If our team gets caught up into that, like which sometimes it seems like we do, then it leads to this. And you saw what it meant to them, to score down the stretch, right? They put themselves in that position to be able to get points on the road. They've got the most points to start the season on the road of any team, surpassing us now in 2024. I saw that stat here recent, salt in the wound, right? But yeah, man, I think it just meant more. It just shows you that next level, that next gear that we have to get.
The same guy who killed us in the playoffs,
Silvetti, yeah. It's just wanting it more. Like I think for a full 90 minutes, especially again at home, you can't let your guard down. I mean, it's just so. And again, like with all the antics, all the everything, you still have to go out and play. You still have to do it.
So we also promised you guys we do a little San Diego preview for Saturday, and I'm sure once again we'll have more to say about this on Monday as we kind of just do short recaps for this game in San Diego on Monday. So go look for that when it does come out. But Ryan, moving forward to Saturday, coming out off of a loss like this, FC Cincinnati now has to travel. They leave tomorrow and travel to San Diego, play on Saturday, 9:30 p.m. So it's going to be a late one. And right now, the San Diego team is winning 3-0 in their game right now.
They're beating up on Austin.
Yeah. And so you're kind of going into the Lions den a little bit now. So we'll see once again, just which FC Cincinnati squad is going to show up, I
think a solid one for a decent amount of the game. It's just, are we going to keep it the whole game? Like we talk about our depth, but like we've been ravished with injuries and we've been ravished with, stupid cards and suspensions. And, Cirillo is going to be out with this upcoming match. But like, I want to see from top to bottom, the whole roster, go out and do something special on the road on Saturday. And, I think, Sam, in some ways, this might be the best thing, that this team doesn't have to sit and linger and think about how they lost and how they had the lead, how they could have won. They can go out and right the wrong, pretty quickly on Saturday. I'm not going to lie, I'm not feeling very confident about it, but coming out of it, I think if Cirillo is the only one that we lose out of this technically, in your eyes, Sam, do we rotate it all? I think you have to see some rotation.
Yeah, I mean, something, right? I think we talked about rotation even, in Monday's episode. And now going off of what we just saw, I mean, do you leave the guys in that? I can guarantee that Kyle Smith isn't starting. I can almost guarantee that. Now, Miazga and Robinson, I mean, there's still the potential that they could still start, against San Diego, just to, once again, get these guys, some more minutes and legs. But Ryan, I do want to note that for as much as San Diego has, they're winning 3-0 right now. So this stat could mean, nothing. They haven't kept a clean sheet in 11 matches. So if they keep a clean sheet, right, that would snap a streak for them. But before that, once again, there's another team that gives up goals. I think their plus minus right now is maybe 23-20. And that, those extra 3 goals coming, in this match. So we'll kind of see what San Diego kind of rolls out. This is the first time FC Cincinnati is playing San Diego, right, in their history, which is also something new. But yeah, the hope is that you get Evander, you get Denke. Those guys have continued to show up and produce goals, and now they're looking behind them going, how many goals do we have to score for you guys to stop, preventing them? I think it's tough. It's tough as an attacker to look back and go, all right, I got to score another one.
I don't have any of the answers, man. I'm lost for words just because we beat it to the ground that it's got to be better. Everyone knows it's got to be better, but do the players again want to be better?
Yep.
And does this group? It's clearly not the right group. So how can we just get through this stretch and get something out of it before the season kind of just drops through? Before this World Cup break. I mean, we're just about. Go ahead.
4-0 now, San Diego.
4-0. Shoot, man. Yeah, great. Good for us. Yeah, man. The response is going to be interesting. I think it'll look a lot of the same, in my opinion, but with maybe Ender in there. Maybe do we see Bucha go back into the middle potentially, or does Anunga get the start in this one? Honestly, who even cares at this point? Just go out and just show it.
If you're calling for a change at left back, do you think Lejar deserves a first MLS start?
I mean, Ramirez at times looks good. He had that good crossover to Pavel, but defensively it's a liability. So something's got to change there. It's a revolving door at left center back, and it's leaving Ramirez on an island. He gives him too much space every single game, and it leads to goals. So at some point we have to look at it and say, hey, who's the next guy up? And if it's him, if it's Ayoub, fine. If it's a young guy that maybe can go improve himself, maybe. I was calling for Bucha to go to the left side, and just give some stability there. He's shown to play on the right. Let him be Kubo. Let him go do the left side and see if he could be good there. Yeah, man, there's a lot of questions. I put that out at the end of this one. Is the response of this team again is tested in a moment where it almost felt like Tigres. You have this match and then you just get stomped on. So, yeah, we have at least the summer window coming up. We can hopefully make some changes that come out of it. As we get closer to that, we'll talk about maybe what we can do.
Yeah. So we can wrap up the San Diego preview. Prediction wise, I mean, I know we kind of, alluded to it that you weren't too confident, for this Saturday match based off of what we just saw. But if you had to give a prediction, Ryan, what you thinking right now?
Loss. Yeah,
Any
I'm
goal
going.
line?
I mean, probably. I mean, we're going to score some goals. So 2-4. I think we get 2 goals and we lose by 2. San Diego's a good team and they're playing at home. They've not had great results, but I think they know their identity. Whereas we have no identity. We at least have offensively found something, but defensively it's in shambles. So I don't feel confident at all. And I'm hoping that I'm wrong. But what about you?
This could go so many different ways. In my head, I want, the resurgent Garys, right? To hey, could this be just another comeback, if they are down and out? Are they going to show, oh, hey, but just because we lost this match, we're going to come back even stronger? And they showed that at times during this unbeaten streak. So that's what makes me a little like optimistic. But at the same time, like you said, like Shirley is probably going to be out. So that's, one center back that you're losing. How much confidence do I have in the other guys besides Miles? I thought he played good. I'm gonna loss as well. I'm gonna 1-2 loss.
Nicer to the defense, huh? There's no confidence for me right now in anything that we do defensively. And this is with 3 center backs. We were calling to play with 2 at some points too.
Does the fact that we have a good history against the West, does that help at all in this, or is this a completely different squad?
The thing for me, maybe that's positive, is that you can go and erase it. So that's got to be your message if you're Pat Noonan, is look, we obviously all know how this feels and it sucks. And they did it to us again on our own home field, but that's in the past, and we got to go out and just play and don't linger, your thoughts about it, and just turn the page to, look, we got to go and do a job here. Whatever they've done historically to prepare themselves for Western Conference matches, has worked, like you said. We just got to see if we can do it. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. Sorry, it's more of a, again, downer episode. I'm sure you guys are all feeling the same way. But hopefully we can get some sort of positive
2 matches left
result. Yeah, we got 2 matches left to get us through the World Cup break. Is it going to just be a little bit of a bad taste in our mouth going into it, or again, that's a good point, Sam, is the fact that maybe Pat Noonan can say, look, you have 2 matches left to go and do something positive before you get a month break. So let's see what we can do.
Yeah. So like we've been saying, leave your comments on the video, in our, Twitter replies, wherever you want to air out your grievances, kind of like we did on here. We'll try our best to shout them out if we get a decent amount, on Monday. But yeah, on to the next one.
Yeah, we'll hope for better results, but thanks again for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time.